This video is sponsored by Epidemic Sound. On Twitter, over 200 of you told me that consistency is what's holding you back as a content creator. So today, I'm gonna give you my 7 steps for being more consistent as a content creator on YouTube and social media. Let's cover the first thing first, time management. Most of you watching this are probably working class content creators. You work a full-time job, maybe you have a family, and content creation cannot be your number one priority. It's a little easier when you're younger and you have less responsibilities. So let's focus on how you can tackle time management. Start by writing down what your typical day looks like for each day of the week, Monday through Sunday. And I want you to be dead honest about all of this and really consider how you're spending your time when you're not at work, you're not sleeping, how much time you are allocating to family and all those things. And it turns out that there's probably some things that you can cut out when it comes to making time for your content creation. The short version of this is, if you want to succeed as a content creator, it's probably gonna come at the expense of the rest of your hobbies. So whatever it is that you do in your spare time when you're not working, sleeping, or spending time with family, maybe those things, those distractions, those vices have to go away, and now your time, your energy, and your spare cash goes into your content creation, and that will probably make it easier to be more consistent. Also, just another hint before I go into the next step here, if you're somebody who works a typical 9-to-5 job, right after work is probably not the best time to film or even edit your content because you don't really have as much mental and emotional energy. It's probably better spent during this time to do little things for only maybe 45 minutes to an hour. Things like working on your thumbnails, doing research, doing admin work. You're not gonna do your best judgment on your edits or your best performance on camera when you're tired after work. The other thing is, a lot of you might have kids, you may not have a lot of windows of opportunity when the house is quiet to film. So I suggest you take advantage of that and you batch record when you have that quiet time, and that you can edit anytime because you can just put on headphones. You probably don't have as many as me, but I'm sure you can scrounge up some headphones and you can drown that out. Do not use quiet time to edit. Quiet time is for filming only. So in terms of your time management, I need time to film and make my content, do it when it's quiet so that you can just go ahead and get through it, get that quality content made, and then you can edit basically any other time. And when it comes to being exhausted, just remember, film on your days off, maybe even edit on your days off, do all your admin work on the side whenever you have time after work. That's probably the most practical thing you can do. Step number 2. A lot of you told me that coming up with ideas and trying to have those prepared before you make content is what's holding a lot of you back. If you're constantly thinking about ideas, doing research, and writing those down, I usually just put it into Apple Notes on my phone. That's how I write down my ideas. This will make it easier for you to make consistent content because you will always have a plan for what content. You won't be sitting there thinking about, I gotta put out a video today, what am I gonna make? You need to already know what you're going to make, and that's gonna make things like making your thumbnails in advance easier, doing the necessary research ahead of time. Everything else will move faster if you already have ideas for content that you can make. And by writing down these different ideas, you'll also know which ones are easier to make versus which ones are harder to make. When I'm on a crunch and I need to crank out videos, the good news is I have an entire list of very quick and easy simple, easy videos that I can make, and so I can get ahead. And when I have quiet time, I'm batch recording those. So just focusing on ideation and doing that on a regular basis. Maybe you do that during your lunch break. Maybe you do that and think really heavily about your content ideas on the commute back home. Just really process this and make sure that you have a bank of ideas for content that you can always make, and don't always focus on your big zany idea that you think is going to get all the views. Focus on something that will allow you to be consistent. Step number 3 for being consistent with your content, this is going to be optimizing in advance. By optimizing your content in advance, what we're talking about is things like topic, title, thumbnail, timing, and we're talking about just basically everything else that goes into a YouTube video or even an Instagram post or even a TikTok video. What are you gonna use in terms of keywords and tags? That's something you could do in advance. To do all my optimization in advance, I actually use a tool in TubeBuddy called the SEO Studio, and that actually lets me upload my thumbnail in advance, write my title in advance, and then I can just upload my video and my description is already there. my tags, titles, everything is already in place before the video is even filmed, edited, and made. And I can just tie the upload to it. If you want to get the free version of TubeBuddy, it's linked in the description down below, but it's the advanced versions that have features like this. Oh yeah, and that is my affiliate link. Even if you're not using something like the TubeBuddy SEO Studio, you can do things like set up your descriptions and in a place where you can copy and paste it. So you could do this in a doc or an Excel sheet if you really wanted to. My big thing and my big hack is I make my thumbnails in advance. I make like, maybe 10, 20 thumbnails well in advance. You don't have to be that extreme, but I love Photoshop so much that I do not mind just cranking out thumbnails. Step number 4, batch record your content. We already talked about this briefly, but in terms of batch recording content, since I already have ideas for my content well in advance, I'm able to film several sessions all at once. And I make this really easy on myself. For one thing, in my videos, I typically just wear my creator merch, which is linked in the description down below, probably also in the merch shelf, but I just wear my own creator merch. And for me, it represents a uniform that I can wear on camera, and I can just rotate pretty easily, change outfits, and just, plug my own merch by wearing it. And this is actually a really effective hack for content creators, is if you just kind of give yourself a set of outfits or your merchandise, or create essentially a uniform for your channel for, going to work to your other job here, it actually does help with filming videos. It helps with continuity. And so it makes it very easy. It's just one less decision to make. The other cool thing about batch recording is if you have your ideas, your bullet points, your script, if you have these things done well in advance, when you do have time and it is quiet and you can just film to your heart's content, you can film 2 or 3 videos at a time, or at least the main cuts of it as far as the talking head, A-roll, or voiceover portion of your video content. You don't necessarily need it to be quiet when you want to film things like B-roll and things that you're going to talk over. A lot of people, they get so in their head about their creative process that what they want to do is they want to film everything in the order they envision it for the edit, and you don't really have to do that. The main thing is to prioritize making content in a way that fits with your lifestyle. So if it is that you need that little bit of window of quiet time, use all of that for batch recording your voiceovers and your talking head videos and your A-roll. You can focus on other aspects of the content that don't require it to be quiet at other times during the day or the week. Step number 5 is going to be creating an asset library, which leads us to today's sponsor, Epidemic Sound. I need all kinds of assets for my content to be able to make it just right and get those edits in and increase the watch time and retention on these videos. And Epidemic Sound really helps me with that when it comes to not only the background music that you all love and enjoy, but also the sound effects that I use whenever I want, plop something up on the screen. They have a huge library of music, and the way that I actually use this to help with my workflow, speed things up, and manage productivity for consistent content is I actually try to create a soundtrack every season. Every 3 months, I go and I grab about maybe anywhere from 12 to 20 songs that I really like in Epidemic Sound, and those are the ones that I know I'm going to use, which means when I need to edit a video, I can edit faster because I don't have to hunt down the perfect sound or the perfect song. It's already right there in a folder on my laptop, ready to go. And so Epidemic Sound has you covered. They're linked in the description down below. You can try them out for 30 days free using my affiliate link. Thank you to Epidemic Sound for sponsoring today's video. Now, in terms of assets, I need more than just background music. I also need visual graphics sometimes, and so I'll use something like Motion VFX. I actually have the plugins from both iJustine and Marquez Brownlee installed because I edit in Premiere Pro. They also work in DaVinci Resolve and Final Cut Pro for those of you who use that. But regardless of what video editor you're using, you should always have things like motion graphic templates, background music, sound effects, and you should also have regular images and graphics that you might need prepared in advance, or even screen recordings. And also something that I have is I make custom presets to help me with things like correcting my audio or even my color correction and color grading. So just kind of having this folder of organized assets set aside, presets that you already have dialed in as far as your settings, it does help make everything work a lot faster, and it eliminates your decision creep. When it comes to my B-roll footage that you all see me, I use story blocks, also linked in the description down below. And what I do is I have folders set up for everything I could possibly need, whether it's a folder called time when I need to show the passage of time, or something that I have called creators when I need to show creators doing creator things, or money whenever I show those wonderful B-roll clips of money raining from the sky. So having those things just set aside so you know where they are, you don't have to think this through, you don't have to hunt them down. This is how I get my editing process locked in. This is why it only takes me about 2 hours to make one of these videos. Step number 6 is to focus on faster editing. By becoming a faster editor, you're going to have to manage a lot less time to make your content. It's also going to mean that when you batch record, you'll also be in a better position to batch edit. This will put you ahead. This will make everything go faster. It will even help you make better quality content to become a faster editor, because once you're getting a lot of these things out of the way, you're able to spend more time tweaking and refining aspects of the content that you want to have be the best that they can be. This is especially true for the first 30 seconds of your YouTube videos for retention, because that drop off at the first 30 seconds is ultimately what kills your videos. So more than anything, being able to say, you know what, I've edited the rough cut, I'm gonna go back to the beginning of the video and focus on that first 30 seconds or that first 60 seconds of the video to keep people engaged for as long as possible, get them to a place where it's too much trouble to go to another video. That's probably for the best. So for a lot of you, you're gonna end up doing your rough cut, getting that out of the way, and if you get really fast and efficient, tune all of that up, you can edit the beginning of the video, the heaviest, and edit that to your heart's content. And this is just all going to make things work a lot better for you, help you stay consistent, and crank out that content. And then finally, number 7. Step number 7 is something that I think is really important. Research before you need to. The thing that makes it the easiest for me to make my content is I mostly get to go off of the knowledge and experience that I already have. And when I don't get to do that and something new comes out, like YouTube monetization changes, YouTube shopping, new YouTube features, or a new monetization platform for creators, like Instagram starts monetizing creators, helping you make money, anything like that happens, what I try to do is research in advance and then go as deep as I can, as quickly as I can, before I ever need to. And I constantly use my spare time to research things I know that I might want to make content about. So having ideas in advance and then tying that to the idea of researching ahead of time in my spare time means that I know my stuff cold. I have it locked in, which is why for me, I don't have to spend nearly as much time writing scripts. All I do is write bullet points, and then I'm able to freestyle on camera. It also helps because since I'm basically blind, the teleprompter is not going to be my friend anyway. So for a lot of you, I know that a lot of you do scripted content. I only really do that for YouTube Shorts, or when I need to do something like an ad read to promote something, or the plugs for the sponsors, for the sponsored content, that sort of thing. So if you do know that you have to write scripts, give yourself a script template. Make your own script template where you have the hook at the beginning of the video, you have your ad reads if you have a sponsored ad read, and you have the main points and cuts that you want, and that you have your intro and outro locked in. This is just gonna make your life easier, and it also will help you with storyboarding and planning the content, picking your B-roll, your sound effects, kind of just having all of that in place before you ever need to. So spend a little bit more time researching, and I promise it will make the content better, and it will make things go smoother, faster, just better in every single way. And there you go. Those are your 7 steps for making consistent content on YouTube, and you can apply this to other social media platforms. You can apply this to podcasts, Instagram content, probably even TikTok, just whatever you would need to do. If you enjoyed this video and you want to be a full-time content creator, make sure you're checking out my videos on YouTube tips. Also, I think you should check out this video on the most profitable niches in YouTube for your own research. As always, thank you so much for watching, and don't forget, go out there and create something awesome today. Take care.